High school can be tough. We'll help you navigate some of the areas you need help with, including the college preparation process by providing advice for families. Every student is different and has a unique path. That's why we created this podcast. Our innovative and intentional approach builds confidence in the individual student. Listen each week to find out how students can score better on college placement tests with techniques and methods that build confidence, beat test anxiety, and identify strengths within each student. You're listening to Simply Smarter with hosts Caleb and Jill. Check out our blog at GetSmarterPrep.com for more college prep-related topics.
Hey guys, welcome to the Simply Smarter podcast, podcasting from our Get Smarter Prep Leawood, Kansas location. This is the Simply Smarter podcast, where we discuss all things ACT, SAT, test prep, and college readiness. We are your hosts, Caleb and Jill. Caleb is one of our premier level tutors and the president here at Get Smarter Prep.
And Jill is our amazing marketing director and wonderful mother of three.
Hey, that's so sweet. Thanks, Caleb. Welcome.
Yeah, it's so fun to be doing this.
It is our first podcast.
I know.
It's great.
It's been a dream for years and years, or months
weeks,
and months,
or weeks,
or weeks, maybe.
It's great. I love it. So, our very first podcast, we want to talk about something really hot right now in the news: Operation Varsity Blues,
or as some of you may know it, hashtag college admission scandal, right?
Yes, and it's really unfortunate. It makes me sad. There's just so much involved, so much money being thrown around, and also just students' lives that have been affected by this.
It's crazy, right?
I know. So we're really talking about the Operation Varsity Blues scandal, including Lori Loughlin from, of course, Full House and all of her Hallmark movies. Another big celebrity, Felicity Huffman. Basically, they paid lots of money to get their students into school.
A lot of money.
A lot of money.
Unbelievable chunks of change, right?
Like,
money that I have never seen in my life.
Right.
They were spending on getting their kid into a particular school just because they thought this is what's going to set them up for the future.
Yeah, and did it?
And no, it did not.
No,
Joke's
not
on
at
them,
all.
right?
People are in jail.
Oh, man. What a
It's
terrible,
horrible.
terrible situation. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't understand, even from that parent perspective, like, I know you want what's best for your kids, but how short-sighted is this?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, seriously, like, they are spending millions and millions of dollars, and now they've set their kids up to fail. Like,
Right.
they were probably setting their kids up to fail before, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, what are you instilling in your kids at that point, right?
And some of the students didn't even apply. They
I
had
saw
their
that.
parents apply or other people apply. I mean, come on. Do you even want to be a part of this school?
Yeah, that was kind of an amusing one, right? The
Right.
kid gets into Stanford, the most selective school in the country, decides to take a gap year, and then still doesn't enroll the next year. Do the parents tell him, like, hey, you're wasting all this money,
Lots of money.
or do you
Yeah.
just kind of move on?
Right. And some parents, it was up to $1.5 million money that was thrown around. A lot were like commonly a $500,000. Here you go. Here's a check. So yeah, it's a lot of money we're talking about, and we're also talking about lots of schools involved. So USC, Yale, UCLA, Stanford, Georgetown, Wake Forest, University of Texas at Austin, and some will say University of San Diego. They're not claiming to have been involved, but I think they were a part of it a little bit, allegedly. So lots of money, lots of schools involved, lots of kids who also had missed opportunities being involved in this scandal. And of course, our beloved Lori Loughlin, aka Aunt Becky.
Yeah.
We love Aunt Becky, right? I mean, she's from Full House. A lot of people grew up with her. I grew up with her.
Right, as children of the 90s.
Yes. And the Hallmark
quintessential.
movies. I mean, who doesn't love Hallmark movies? They're so great.
Right.
So great. So she was dropped from all of it, actually. I just found out this morning that she was dropped from Fuller House season 5. So that's really unfortunate. But, you know, when you do things like that, these are the repercussions. This is what happens.
Yeah.
And her daughter, Olivia Jade, big Instagram influencer, was also dropped by brands like Sephora, Amazon, Dolce & Gabbana, Lulu's. So she was, you know, on her way to becoming a big deal as well, but not through her school.
Not that route anymore.
Not through her schooling.
Oh my gosh.
No, so really unfortunate. A lot of people were affected by this. A lot of people lost a lot of money, but they just didn't go about it the right way. At all.
Right? Like, what else can you say? Like, holy cow.
Yeah.
And the people that are kind of running this thing, like a Rick Singer, how do you wake up one morning and decide, oh yeah, I think I'm going to start charging people hundreds of thousands of dollars to get their kid into school at the age of like 51. Again, this isn't like some kid who's making a terrible decision and doesn't know any better. This is a grown adult who is...
Well, he was paid by up to $25 million by all these parents. $25 million.
Oh, over 8 or 9 years, right? Like, so it's not even like over a career.
Right.
It's an unbelievable amount of money. And the things that they're getting these people on... Most of the parents are getting charged for wire fraud and mail fraud because there aren't a lot of other things that they can get them on. But even little things like who mails a $500,000 check to a skeevy guy like Rick Singer or his organization. And then, of course, some of them are getting charged for maybe tax evasion down the road or just laundering, just because they were funneling all this money through a nonprofit, which is
And so Rick, he pleaded guilty
crazy.
to racketeering conspiracy, money laundering, conspiracy to defraud the U.S., and obstruction of justice. So he is in jail.
Yeah,
he's done.
The thing that I think is pretty I mean, can he get any worse? Right? Except for now, he's the one that is the informant, and why all this is getting blown up. Right? Like they've had him since September. And he's just rolling people out. He's just giving them names and information and trying to get them to admit to it in text messages and whatever else. It's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah. So horrible ordeal. It's still kind of trickling down. We're still kind of seeing the effects of that. And even I mean, we help students and parents prepare for college. That's what we do. We want our students to succeed. We help them prepare for the ACT, SAT mainly. But our parents are feeling some anxiety.
They are.
As well, which is, it's sad because we want to help our students. We want them to succeed as best as we can. But even our parents who we're working with locally have felt the effects of this scandal.
Yeah. I feel like there's a big swing. Whenever anything like this happens, I feel like we as a society and culture, we make this decision to completely disavow it, which we absolutely should, but then we swing to the completely opposite side. So even an organization similar to Get Smarter Prep recently came out with a statement and kind of just talked about like how they don't condone any of this. Clearly no decent human does.
No.
But then they kind of swung to the other side and just kind of talked about how what they do is just like what students do in high school, and it's just a supplement piece and whatnot. And again, we just know that the test is just different than what students are learning in school, and it's intentional, right? Wouldn't it be silly if it was exactly the same thing as school? Like, why would it exist? Right. It shouldn't. Right?
It was built by psychologists. It's a psychometric test.
Right.
It's not going to be the same as you see as a high school student taking a test in English class or math class. Whatever it is.
And again, you just need to approach things differently. And there's so many amazing skills that students gain by preparing for the ACT or SAT or GRE or GMAT or LSAT.
The correct way.
The correct way. Thank
Not
you.
having their tutor take the test for them, perhaps.
Right. I mean, they have to do the heavy lifting.
Right.
They have to be able to create those new neural pathways and be able to think in a different way. What we focus on is that creative piece and the critical thinking and being able to just adjust to the expectations, just like anything in life or in school or whatever else.
Right. And we have our curriculum. We have our set curriculum that we go by, and we expect the students to show up for their study session, for their class, to put in the work, to do their homework, to come to office hours when they can, to really apply themselves so that when they get to that test date, they are prepared and they're taking the test. They are ready. They feel prepared. We've done time drills. We've done different strategies so that they are ready for the test that day.
Absolutely. And I feel like that is half the battle, is just being prepared and knowing, like, hey, I've got this, right? I've had so many parents over the years tell me that it doesn't really matter what the scores are. They just don't want their kid freaking out and having that anxiety about the test for months and months and months. Yeah. And just, like, dwelling on it, right? Students have so much going on in their lives already. I hear from students constantly they're sleeping 2 hours a night, going into school the next day, and they're just freaking out. Junior year's tough already. Like, we're throwing this extra test at them.
Academics, now this big test, social,
Yeah, musicals, plays, whatever it may be.
Yeah. Maybe just relaxing for a minute. I don't know.
Not very often. Maybe spring break.
Yeah, right.
Hopefully some students got some sleep this past week.
Right. I hope so. I can tell you, relating back to the our Operation Varsity Blues scandal, I had to laugh because Lori Loughlin, aka Aunt Becky's daughter, Olivia Jade, was abruptly taken from her Bahama trip, her spring break. She was on a yacht in the Bahamas, and that was cut short. So it's very unfortunate that the scandal broke out in the middle of her wonderful spring break. But such is life. Such is life. I can tell you, I wasn't on a yacht in the Bahamas.
I was not either. I was not either.
Oh well.
What do you think about? So, I feel like a lot of the focus are on these celebrities, and because celebrities are icons here in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
But what about like these coaches that are
so
really they're the voice, they're the key person to the university, right?
Yeah.
That a lot of these families were taking advantage of, and they were just making these terrible decisions, raking in the money, of course.
Right. Well, they're all fired. So
they're all fired.
Bad choices.
That is rough, and now charged for other things. Right.
Right.
Yikes.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's flying under the radar, and then the students themselves. So I have mixed feelings about the students. I don't know
the students who are currently enrolled that were part of the scandal.
Yeah, that were part of the scandal. So I think they kind of fall into three different categories. One, there's the kids who like clearly knew because they had somebody else go take the test for
and they're
them, right?
bragging about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's. I don't have much sympathy for those kids.
No.
Right.
No.
But then there were some other kids who would literally. They had no idea. They'd go in and actually take the test. They thought they were going to get like a 24 or 25 on the ACT, and then they'd get a 30, like magically.
Wow.
Wow, that's impressive.
That is
and
amazing.
everybody wants to think that they're going to do their best, right?
Right.
But I wish there was just a little bit more self-awareness in there. Those are the kids, though, that I feel a little bit bad for.
Of course.
The parents have just hidden so much from them. That's just tough to know kind of where that line was and how much they actually knew, right?
Yeah. What about the kids who, this is maybe like their second or third year, and they think that maybe they're getting away with it, and then now what happens to them? Are they, do they continue to go to school? It looks pretty bad on their part if they continue to go to school and finish and get their degree from there. But
absolutely,
have they put in the work?
There.
Have they? I mean, did they start as freshmen, or did they put in that work, or did their parents get them in and like they're doing good, or
were they going for the parties and for the social scene? Like some of them have admitted.
Right. So it's a mixed bowl. There's a mix of everyone, but it's an interesting story, and we just thought it would be, such a great intro to our podcast to kind of talk about it. It's right there. It's in your face every day. You turn your computer on and it's there. But we kind of want to bring it back around to what exactly we do, because we do feel like it's such a hot topic, and what is that line between what do you do for your kids and, what do you offer them or what do you do for them, right? So we've talked about, you can put in the work, and parents will obviously more than likely pay for this, right? But what does that realistically look like here in Kansas City, in the Kansas City Metro, or throughout the nation?
Sure. The first thing I actually want to address, if it's okay, if it's all right.
Do it.
Is the idea, again, these resources, a lot of the families that we work with are middle class or upper middle class or upper class, right? But it doesn't mean that students in lower class or middle lower class are not getting great services and opportunities. We've been serving the community as much as we possibly can throughout Kansas City and even beyond. We're working with some rural schools in Missouri. So there are resources for students who choose to take advantage of them. Even our scholarship that we offer each year, we've worked with some KCK kids. We've worked with a lot of really great students who are really dedicated and really, really want to do their best. And college is their end goal, right? But what we offer here at Get Smarter Prep, that was the actual question.
Ding, ding.
Ding, ding. Was, so we offer different prep options for ACT or SAT, where we can kind of partner with the student and make sure we're targeting their goals. So the best place to begin is always with our free practice tests.
Right.
Right? Like
full length
practice
practice
actual retired exam. We want to make sure that we're doing what's right for the student.
ACT or SAT.
Or both.
Or both.
And then we'll actually have a sit-down conversation with the student and the family. We want to make sure everybody's engaged and involved so that we can clearly communicate like what this test is about, kind of put aside some of those anxieties that maybe the student is feeling, and just kind of clear up all that misinformation that's out there, right? We sometimes call it the parent echo chamber, where there's just all this information out there and 90% of it is wrong.
So much information.
So we want to make sure that we are kind of clearing up those misconceptions and making sure we're doing really what's best for the student and the family.
Kind of streamlining it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
This is what the information is out there. This is what you need to know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, actually, it kind of goes on a much larger scale. One of my favorite things that I did this past year was I went to a local high school and I met with all of the staff and faculty, administration, everybody, and tried to get us all rowing in the same direction, right? Like those students could be hearing 6 different things from 6 different respected teachers or administration.
Hey, I hear the April test is easier than the September test.
Take that one.
Is that true?
Or my favorite, certain schools say the June test is the easy one because that's when the athletes take it.
Oh.
Not true for the record.
Just kidding.
Right? Maybe we'll have a Mythbusters edition sometime.
On the next episode.
So that could be kind of fun. But so
like it.
we always start with that. And I'm going to tell you, that's free for everybody. Everybody. Like anybody in the metro area, anybody who can drive.
Do I want to take
right,
it? That's the question.
Better question.
I'll let the students take it. How about that?
Yes. That's a good idea. Good idea. So once we have those scores and that data, then we can help the family make good decisions for their particular situation. Again, so I feel like so many people jump right into prep and they have no idea how they're doing, and then they have no way to measure like their success.
Right. But I've taken 5 tests. Right. I have lots of practice.
On your own, or are they practice tests? Are they half the length?
I've gotten a 25 on every single test, though.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yeah, we see that a lot. It's kind of painful. So we want to make sure that we are retargeting, and we have course options. And when I say courses, I'm not talking 25 kids in a class. I'm talking like 5 or 6 in most cases,
classes.
right?
Yeah.
So we want to make sure we're targeting what's right for each student.
And that starts from, anywhere from a 14. Right? I mean, we've seen kids who have low ACT scores, like 13, 14, all the way
12.
up to, even 11 or 12. I mean, it is what it is. All the way up to 31, 34, 35. They just want that perfect ACT score. Yeah. So there's really a mix of everyone, and we offer something for everyone, whether that's through our courses, through semi-private tutoring, through one-on-one private tutoring. So there is something for everyone at every stage of that ACT, SAT test.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing I want to kind of put out there, and again, sometimes we think of this as too much, as it's related too much to school, and you can't review 3.5 years worth of math in a short time frame, and that is true. Yeah. But you can easily prepare for the ACT or SAT and what's tested in the math section in 6 hours of class time and a lot of time on your own.
Right.
But probably another 15 hours on your own practicing the new strategies and ideas. Because it's not about math in a lot of cases. It's about how to approach these math-related concepts on this particular test.
Secrets.
So it's kind of fun.
Yes.
That's nerdy.
You're telling us your ACT
I'm nerding out over here.
Secrets. I love it.
So, again, there's opportunities for improvement no matter where you are in the scale. We had a student who actually won our scholarship last year.
Yes, Annabelle.
Yes, she was delightful.
She was.
She actually had been told by someone at school that she could not improve her score anymore. Like, it just wasn't even doable. And that's just
sad.
Weird, right?
That's really
and she
sad.
had a great score. She was starting off with a 25, but she wound up with a 32 after just 5 weeks. Yeah. And we hammered it.
That's crazy.
We got after it, right? We met twice a week for those 5 weeks.
She was focused. She did her work.
She was a sponge. Oh my gosh. She followed direction like almost no other student ever. Like it was fantastic. Yeah. But she saw a huge improvement in a short time frame. Right. And it's not that she had gotten quote unquote smarter in that time frame, right? Smarter, get smarter. But she was just able to kind of look at things differently and take the test for what it was and approach it in a way that made sense for it.
Right. Right.
So,
I love that story.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
one of my favorites,
Me
actually.
too.
And now she can go, her possibilities are opened up to so many
gosh.
different colleges, universities, instead of just, a handful of, these certain colleges. But
And scholarship money.
Yes,
Holy
yes,
cow.
yeah.
The difference between a 25 and a 32 for
Right.
money?
right.
That's a win.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. Absolutely.
So what about supplemental help? Mm-hmm. We also offer office hours each week.
Yep.
Kind of like in college.
What are office hours? Can you tell me?
I could do that, Jill. So we offer office hours modeled off after like what students will see in college, where professors have these times where students can just come in and ask questions, kind of get help on homework, or maybe there's just a key concept.
So
that
how
they
much
just
more are
don't
those
get.
office hours? What do they cost?
Nothing.
Oh, really?
If you're enrolled, they're absolutely free.
Okay.
And we host them twice a week on Tuesday evenings and on Saturdays, where students can just get that extra help, work on time drills.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I know you know this, Jill, but you out there, did you know that like roughly 95% of students have troubles with timing the ACT?
Yeah, obviously.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, why did they build a test that nobody can finish?
Right.
But they
On
have.
purpose.
Right.
On purpose.
Because it's just a weird exam. So, again, if we can help students kind of master that piece and figure out a pace that's right for them, it can go a really long way on the test.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that kind of wraps it up a little bit. There's so many other options for podcasts in the future, and we're really excited to continue this with just lots of different topics, all kind of circling around the ACT, SAT, and studying how to get smarter here at Get Smarter Prep. And, it really kind of wraps it up around this whole Operation Varsity Blues. If you do it the wrong way, you're either going to get busted, or you're not going to get a good grade. You're not going to get a good score. But if you do it the right way, things will really click for you, and you can go in there and have confidence and do your best and
good
feel
sense of accomplishment.
Yes,
Yeah,
like you're doing it the right way and really feel good about yourself. So that's awesome. That's kind of what we wanted to talk about in our first podcast. And do you have anything else, Caleb?
Not right now. I'm looking forward to this.
Me too.
This kind of journey.
Me
we're
too.
going to have some really fun things, kind of thinking outside the box, kind of getting into some of the basic strategies and that can really help a student. Just simple things improve 1 or 2 points, like if they just follow it.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that.
More to come.
It's kind of awesome.
Thanks so much for listening, guys. I hope you have a great day, and more to come with our Simply Smarter podcast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to the Simply Smarter podcast with Caleb and Jill. If you like our show and want to know more, please check out our website, getsmarterprep.com, or subscribe to this podcast. Join us next week when we talk about what a good ACT score really is.
I love that topic. I can't wait for it, Jill.
See you next week.